Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah.
Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah wa kafa wa salatu wa salamu ala ibadihi allazina astafa, khususan ala afdalihim wa khatamin nabiyyin Muhammadin al-amin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Amma ba'du, faqad qala Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala kama warada fi surati al-Baqarah. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. وَإِذْ قَالَ رَبُّكَ لِلْمَلَائِكَةِ إِنِّي جَاعِلٌ فِي الْأَرْضِ خَلِيفَةً قَالُوا أَتَجْعَلُ فِيهَا مَنْ يُفْسِدُ فِيهَا وَيَسْفِكُ الدِّمَاءَ وَنَحْنُ نُسَبِّحُ بِحَمْدِكَ وَنُقَدِّسُ لَكَ قَالَ إِنِّي أَعْلَمُ مَا لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. وقال تبارك وتعالى وَإِذْ قُلْنَا لِلْمَلَائِكَةِ اسْجُدُوا لِآدَمَ فَسَجَدُوا إِلَّا إِبْلِيسَ أبى واستكبر وكان من الكافرين. وقال عز وجل قل اهبطوا منها جميعا فإما يأتينكم مني هدى فمن تبع هداي فلا خوف عليهم ولا هم يحزنون والذين كفروا وكذبوا بآياتنا أولئك أصحاب النار هم فيها خالدون. وقال جل وعلا كما ورد في سورة النساء رسلا مبشرين ومنذرين لئلا يكون للناس على الله حجة بعد الرسل وكان الله عزيزا حكيما. صدق الله العظيم. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. اللهم ربنا ألهمنا رشدنا وأعذنا من شرور أنفسنا. اللهم أرنا الحق حقا وارزقنا اتباعه وأرنا الباطل باطلا وارزقنا اجتنابه. اللهم ربنا زدنا إيمانا وهدى وعلما نافعا وعملا صالحا متقبلا. آمين يا رب العالمين. Dear brothers and sisters and sons and daughters in Islam, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. As you must be remembering, out of the 10 topics which we enlisted last evening regarding our discussion about Iman, the faith in Islam, last evening we could discuss fully 3 of them. That is, number 1, the literal meanings of the word Iman. Number 2, technical definition of the term Iman. Number 3, the subject matter of Iman. And then we discussed the 4th topic, that is the main articles of Iman. But the last part of this topic, that is the relative importance of the 3 main pillars of Iman, the relative importance of these as compared to one another, that we couldn't include in our last evening's discussion. But today, before I proceed to complete that part, that is the relative importance of the three main articles of faith, and then proceed to the fourth discussion, which is actually the fifth discussion, that is very basic, very important, and let me say very complicated also. That is the two aspects of Iman. I propose, number one, to review the last part of our discussion of the last evening, and again, narrate what is Iman, what are the main articles of faith. And secondly, I want to add something to it. Although I do fear that in this way we might have to extend the time for this discussion on Iman, either for one session or for one full day. But I feel that there are problems in the minds of people. And a brother yesterday asked me a question after my lecture, and maybe those things are agitating the minds of other brothers also. So I want to add something. And here also, again, as I did last evening, I solicit your support by concentrating your attention, and number two, by praying to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He gives me the ability to complete this discussion. Now, what are the articles of the faith that we discussed? Number one, this universe is a creation. It was created by a creator at a definite time, and it has a beginning as well as an end. At this point, I emphasized, it's common now to science as well as the Quran. Our physics and astronomy has reached that point, that Big Bang theory, that there was a definite beginning of this universe. And also, now we believe, the scientists believe, that there is going to be an end also. But now, the Creator, He has no beginning, no end. He is from ever, and He will remain forever. Now you can call this Creator by any name. قُلِ ادْعُوا اللَّهَ وَادْعُوا الرَّحْمَنَ أَيَّمَّا تَدْعُوا فَلَهُ الْأَسْمَاءُ الْحُسْنَى. But you have to keep in mind a few points about this Creator. Number one, He is not only one, but also alone. There is no partner unto Him. There is none like Him, similar to Him. لَيْسَ كَمِثْلِهِ شَيْءٌ. He neither begot nor was begotten. This is actually, you may say, the translation of Surah Al-Ikhlas. قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ اللَّهُ الصَّمَدُ لَمْ يَلِدْ وَلَمْ يُولَدْ وَلَمْ يَكُنْ لَهُ كُفُوًا أَحَدٌ. Then all the good names belong to Him. فَلَهُ الْأَسْمَاءُ الْحُسْنَى. He has all the good attributes, and to a magnitude of infinity. He is omnipotent, He is omniscient, He is omnipresent. هو على كل شيء قدير, هو بكل شيء عليم, هو معكم أينما كنتم. He is with you wherever you are. He knows everything, and He has all the power and authority. Precisely, this is what we call Tawheed, or the Iman Billah. Now the second point that I made, and actually I want to add something to that second point today. Man is the masterpiece of his creation. Quran says, لَقَدْ خَلَقْنَا الْإِنسَانَ فِي أَحْسَنِ التَّقْوِيمِ. We have created man on the best pattern, the best pattern. Also it says, وَلَقَدْ كَرَّمْنَا بَنِي آدَمَ وَحَمَلْنَاهُمْ فِي الْبَرِّ وَالْبَحْرِ وَرَزَقْنَاهُمْ مِنَ الطَّيِّبَاتِ وَفَضَّلْنَاهُمْ عَلَىٰ كَثِيرٍ مِّمَّنْ خَلَقْنَا تَفْضِيلًا. We have honored the progeny of Adam, and we have given them the fadilah over our creatures, most of our creatures. Then there is another expression in Surah Sad. خَلَقْتُهُ بِيَدَيَّ. I created man with both of my hands. It's very peculiar. But here I am only quoting this ayah. The real meaning of this ayah I will refer to again during my talk today. Then there is a hadith. It is agreed upon by Imam Bukhari as well as Imam Muslim, rahimahumullah, both of them, muttafaqun alayh. And it is from Abu Huraira radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. According to this hadith, the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam has been reported to have said, Inna Allah khalaqa Adama ala suratihi. And the exact translation of this hadith you can find in the Bible. The source is the same, source of Bible. And you don't think that everything in Bible is wrong. So the source is there, source is the same. Inna Allah khalaqa Adama ala suratihi. And you find the words in the Bible, and God created man in his own image. Exact. So here, Quran and Bible, Torah, they are agreeing. And let me make another point. As far as this issue that man is supreme in the creation, this is also agreed upon between the science of today and Quran. Because we know that we have two types of creations. The creations of the creatures without having life. Well, they are at a lower level of existence than the living creatures having life. They are at a higher level. And you know that according to the biologists, Homo sapiens, that is man, stands at the top of the evolution tree. He's the most evolved creature having life. This much is agreed between the Quran and the science. But it is at this very point that I want to add a few things about the levels and stages of creation. And now, please count with me 7 points. Number 1, there are 2 levels of creation, a higher level and a lower level. The higher level, in Arabic we have 2 words for these 2 levels different, takween and takhliq. Takween is something else, takhliq is something else. But at least I don't know any word in English for takween. So we have to use in English the same word, creation. Creation at a higher level, creation at a lower level. Now what is, according to the Quran, the level, higher level is alamul amr, and the lower level is alamul khalq. And Quran says, ala lahul khalq wal amr. Both these levels of creation belong to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Point number 2. At the higher level, that is the alam amr, no time factor is involved at all. Here, the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, kun, manifests itself, becomes executed instantly. إنما أمره إذا أراد شيئا فإنما يقول له كن فيكون. No time element. But at the level of khalq, time factor is always involved. At many places Quran says, خَلَقَ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضَ فِي سِتَّةِ أَيَّامٍ. This is again common between Bible and Quran. 6 days. And these are 6 millenniums, not days. Not days according to our, calculations, 24 hours. These are the days of Allah. Inna yawmin inda rabbika ka'alfi sanatin mimma ta'uddun. The day of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala may be 1,000 years long according to your calculations. There is a day 50,000 years long. في يوم مقداره 50,000 سنة. So we can say these are 6 millenniums. But the point that I wanted to make is, at the alam amr, no time factor involved whatsoever. But at the level of alam khalq, always there is a time factor involved. You know that fertilized ovum in the womb of the mother takes 9 months to be completed as a human infant. So from this to the creation of the universe, at the level of khalq, time factor is always involved. Point number 3, human knowledge or the physical sciences, they can know and investigate only the alam khalq. This is the world of matter. Your sense organs and your intellect can go only to this extent, not beyond that. Beyond that is alam amr. And this is alam al-ghaib. I pointed out yesterday. The first condition, alif lam mim, ذَلِكَ الْكِتَابُ لَا رَيْبَ فِيهِ هُدًى لِلْمُتَّقِينَ الَّذِينَ يُؤْمِنُونَ بِالْغَيْبِ. So the domain of science and physical science and human investigation and research is limited to this world of khalq. You can't go beyond that. You can't peep through your human resources into the alam amr. Point number 4. The first command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the big kun, it emanated from him and it took the form and manifested itself in the form of light. But mind you, don't confuse this light with the physical light with which we deal in physics. This light has particles, photons. This light, although it has the maximum speed in the physical world, 186,000 miles per second, still it takes time. It takes time. Time element is there. So this light, don't confuse with it. The light, you may call it the Nurullah, the divine light. And that was the first manifestation of the command of kun. It manifested itself in the form of light, which had no photons, no particles, no heat, no temperature. It was cold and inert. Cold is not a good word, cool and inert. So that was light. And please note now, at this level of creation, this is alam amr. And at this level, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made 2 creations, 2 creatures who have self-consciousness. Number 1, the spirits of all the human beings. The human spirits don't belong to this world of khalq. They belong to the world of amr. Ruh, al-arwah. And they were in millions and billions. There is a hadith, Al-arwahu juludum mujannada. The spirit, the ruh of every one of us, starting from Adam till the last son of Adam or daughter of Adam, who will live on this planet. The spirits of all of them were created. And the first spirit created, first of all, was the spirit of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. There is a hadith to this effect, although most of the muhaddithin don't agree to the authenticity of the hadith. But most of the mufassirin, they accept it. And that is, أَوَّلُ مَا خَلَقُ اللَّهُ نُورِي. What does it mean? The spirit of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Because this was created, all the spirits, human spirits, were created out of light. So you can call the spirit of Muhammad is the nur of Muhammad. And that was the first creation. And the second, they were the angels. They are also created from nur. And there is a hadith to this effect from Hazrat Aisha radiyallahu ta'ala anha. And it is included in the Sahih of Imam Muslim rahimahullah, which says, Inna Allaha khalaqa al-malaikata min al-nur. The angels were created out of light. But this light, not the physical light, to which I'll come later on. Also note here that at this stage, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the Creator, took two covenants from all the human spirits. The first covenant, very important, mentioned in detail in Surah Al-A'raf, which we call Ahd Alast. You are all present there, without these bodies. In spiritual forms, we were there, standing before our Lord. And he asked us a question, Alastu bi Rabbikum? And all of us agreed and said, Bala, you are our Lord. We agree. So this is the covenant which we made. Every human being made that covenant. But the spirit of every human being, there were no bodies, no physical bodies, no physical existence. The world of physical existence didn't start even. That is alam al-khalq, that is the world of matter. It will come later on. And the second covenant that was taken was from the spirits of all the prophets, which we call Misaqun Nabiyyin. These were the two covenants taken at that level. Now come to the fifth point. After some time, the duration of which we cannot know, started the second and lower level of creation, that is the alam al-khalq, with a big explosion, which the scientists are now calling the Big Bang. This explosion took place in part of that light. That light, a small portion of it, exploded. And this Big Bang resulted in a huge, enormous mass of fire, ball of fire. This consisted of photons, very minute particles, to the size of 1/1,000,000th of an electron. There was a time when the science had reached only the electrons and protons and neutrons. Now it has gone much farther away. And the temperature was very high. Not millions, but billions and trillions degrees Fahrenheit. And this mass was rotating with a tremendous speed. Now, this is the point where scientists have reached. And this is the beginning of this world of matter. This is the lower level of creation. This is the alam-e-khalq. And please note, at this level, a third creation, having self-consciousness, was created out of this fire. And now we know they are the jinns. وَالْجَانَّ خَلَقْنَاهُ مِنْ قَبْلِ مِنْ نَارِ السَّمُومِ. We created the jinns much before this, you know, the life on this planet. And this life on this planet, at the top is our physical bodies, Homo sapiens, the species. Much before them, jinns were created out of fire. وَالْجَانَّ خَلَقْنَاهُ مِنْ قَبْلِ مِنْ نَارِ السَّمُومِ. And also note, one of these jinns, he attained a very high level of knowledge, gnosis, consciousness, and by dint of his worship, he became very close to the Malaika and in a way associated with them. The name of this jinn was Azazil. He would later become the Iblis or the Shaitan. Now come to the sixth point. Then started a very long process. You may call it evolution. Pure energy, photons, turning into physical elements. Then chemical evolution, starting with the smaller and simpler compounds to more and more complex compounds, from inorganic going to organic, which has the capacity to give birth to life. You may call it evolution, but the better word is descent, coming down. It's actually tanazzulat, as our philosophers have termed them. The first tanazzul, the divine command, kun, taking the form of divine light. Second tanazzul, and a part of that divine light, an explosion of Big Bang, which created a ball, a huge ball of fire. And the third tanazzul is now, this is now going down to be condensed into these materials, inorganic and organic compounds. And thence, you know, we know the steps. This huge ball of fire split into galaxies. Then the stars were formed, and the planets were formed. It's all going down and down. One of the millions or billions of stars is our sun. And one of the planets which are rotating around the sun is our Earth. Then these planets started cooling down. What happened? Gases went out, and they took the form of this atmosphere which enveloped this Earth. Gases coming out from this very ball of fire when it was cooling down. And it cooled down to have this crust of, you know, clay round the Earth. And then in the atmosphere, the two gases, hydrogen and oxygen, by some command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they turned into water. The scientists say for millions and millions of years there was rain and rain and rain and rain. And then with the interaction of the clay and water started the first germ of life. All these things, you know, you are very familiar with these things. I don't want to go into detail. But then started a process of evolution. Now this is going up. Up till now it was coming down. These are called tanazzulat. Now it is evolution. Now you are going up from the lower forms of living beings, unicellular and so on and so on and so on, till you know Homo sapiens, the species appeared, Homo sapiens. And now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala selected one individual from this species. Inna Allah astafa Adama. Istifa means to choose someone out of a number of things. Istifa. Inna Allah astafa Adama wa Nuhan wa ala Ibrahim wa ala Imran ala al-alameen. The ayah from Surah Al Imran. And then you know the spirit of Adam that was there, created much before, which was there in some cold storage, divine cold storage, all the spirits, human spirits, that was instilled into this individual Homo sapien, and then he became Adam alayhi salatu wassalam. He became the vicegerent of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Adam is the only creation in which both the worlds, Alam-e-Amr as well as Alam-e-Khalq, they are joined together. And this body, it belongs to Alam-e-Khalq. The Malaika, they belong to Alam-e-Amr only. The jinns belong to Alam-e-Khalq only, no spirits. But it is human being having a composite existence. Both the Alam-e-Amr, the spirit coming from Alam-e-Amr, and the body evolving from the Alam-e-Khalq, joined together. And this is man, the vicegerent of Allah on earth. And this is the meaning, خَلَقْتُهُ بِيَدَيَّ. I have created this man with both of my hands. أَلَا لَهُ الْخَلْقُ وَالْأَمْرُ. The two arms of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala are the two worlds or levels of creation. The Alam-e-Khalq, the Alam-e-Amr. And in man only, both these alams, both these worlds, both these levels of creation meet. Now, as a sign of coronation of Adam as the vicegerent of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah commanded all the angels to prostrate before Adam. This was the coronation of Adam. And mind you, because that Azazil was associated with the Malaika, due to his high level of consciousness, gnosis, knowledge, and worship, he was also commanded. All the angels, mind you, I pointed to this very important point yesterday also. فَسَجَدَ الْمَلَائِكَةُ كُلُّهُمْ أَجْمَعُونَ. And that is why I recited the ayat in the beginning today. وَإِذْ قَالَ رَبُّكَ لِلْمَلَائِكَةِ إِنِّي جَاعِلٌ فِي الْأَرْضِ خَلِيفَةً. Then, after a few ayat, وَإِذْ قُلْنَا لِلْمَلَائِكَةِ اسْجُدُوا لِآدَمَ فَسَجَدُوا إِلَّا إِبْلِيسَ. And it is cleared in Surah Al-Kahf. Who was this Iblis? كَانَ مِنَ الْجِنِّ فَفَسَقَ عَنْ أَمْرِ رَبِّهِ. He was not from among the angels. He was a jinn. Angels never disobey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. لَا يَعْصُونَ اللَّهَ مَا أَمَرَهُمْ وَيَفْعَلُونَ مَا يُؤْمَرُونَ. These are the words in Surah Al-Tahrim. Angels don't disobey. But he was from the jinns. كَانَ مِنَ الْجِنِّ فَفَسَقَ عَنْ أَمْرِ رَبِّهِ. فَسَجَدَ الْمَلَائِكَةُ كُلُّهُمْ أَجْمَعُونَ إِلَّا إِبْلِيسَ أَبَى أَنْ يَكُونَ مَعَ السَّاجِدِينَ. He refused to prostrate. He disobeyed Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He said, I am better than him, superior to him. Ana khairum minhu. Khalaqtani min narin wa khalaqtahu min teen. Out of haughtiness, pride, and jealousy, he refused to prostrate before Adam. And thence he became Iblis. What's the meaning of Iblis? The most frustrated one, the most disappointed one. This is the literal meaning of Iblis. And now please mind, this is the beginning of the enmity of Iblis and his progeny to Adam and his progeny. Inna shaytana lakum aduwan fattakhizuhu aduwa. This adawa, this enmity, start from there. It will continue. Iblis wanted, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives him the long life to remain till Qiyamah. And he will prove his point that Adam was not equal to the status given to him by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I will prove. They will disobey you. They will be ungrateful to you. I will prove. You give me the time. And it was granted to him. And that's the enmity of Iblis and his progeny to Adam and his progeny. Now please remember, this incident which happened between Adam and Iblis is so important, so basic to the philosophy of the Quran, that it has been repeated 7 times in the Quran. Can you imagine? You find it in Surah Al-Baqarah, 4th part, 4th section. Again Surah Al-Araf, 2nd section. Again Surah Al-Hijr. Again Surah Bani Israel. Again Surah Al-Kahf. Again Surah Taha. Again Surah Sad. 7 places in Quran this has been repeated. This is the basic question, this is the basic issue of the philosophy of the Quran. Now I want to infer some points from whatever I have said. The 7 points which I have made up till now, keep them before you. And there are 10 inferences. Number 1, man has a double or composite existence. The spiritual existence, which is not only equal to the malaika, the angels, but superior to the malaika. Because the malaika were asked to prostrate before Adam. And the animal or physical or material existence, these two are joined together. Regarding the spiritual existence, man is supreme, superior to the, what to speak of jinns, even to the angels. But regarding his animal existence, his bodily existence, his material existence, he is at the lowest in the 3. What to speak of angels, he is lower than the jinns. The jinns were created out of fire. And man was created, this body was created out of clay. I have quoted the ayah, خَلَقْتَنِي مِن نَارٍ وَخَلَقْتَهُ مِن teen. Why should I prostrate before Adam? I don't see any reason. I am superior to him. You created me out of fire, you created him out of clay. And fire is superior to clay. And I gave you yesterday the couplet, beautiful couplet from Sheikh Sadi, rahimahullah. Admi zada turfa ma'junast. As farishta sarishta was haywan. This human being is, a very peculiar, composite existence. There is an angel in him as well as an animal in him. Very correct. Now come to the 4th point. When did the human life start? It started when the spirits were created. My beginning is not from my birth out of the womb of my mother, nor it started from the conception. I am coming from a very far off point. I was created. And each one of us, we were there. When we gave that covenant to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, alastu bi rabbikum qalu bala, and we were self-conscious of ourselves. Otherwise the covenant and the agreement is baseless, useless. If you don't have a self-consciousness, if you are not conscious of yourself, how can you make a covenant? So the life started there. Our existence, you may say existence. Then we were placed in some cold storage. This is a pause. Then we opened our eyes in this world, and now with a physical body. This is the life on this planet. This is the life in this world. This Quran says, Al-Hayatud Dunya. Then there is going to be another pause. Our body, dust thou art, to dust returnest. It came from clay, it will go to the clay. Minha khalaqnakum wa fiha nu'idukum. That is the body. My spirit was not created out of clay. This body was created out of clay. This is khalq. Minha khalaqnakum wa fiha nu'idukum wa minha nukhrijukum taratan ukhra. Then there will be resurrection. We will again be given a body. That resurrection will again going to be with the body. The soul, which the death after death goes. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. The soul or the spirit is coming from Allah and it returns to Allah. And this body came from the clay and returned to the clay. How beautiful it is. Something coming and going, returning to the same place, coming from high level. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. And minha khalaqnakum wa fiha nu'idukum. And there is a point of contact of the two for this period of our life on this planet. Then you know, after resurrection, then we become eternal. وَإِنَّهَا لَجَنَّةٌ أَبَدًا أَوْ لَنَارٌ أَبَدًا. So this is a very difficult part of the philosophy of Quran. And there is an ayah in Surah Al-Mu'min. Most of the people just, skip over this. Don't ponder over it. The people in Jahannam will say to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Rabbana amattana snatayn wa ahyaytana snatayn fa'tarafna bi dhunubina fahal ila khurujin min sabil. Oh, our Lord, you put death on us twice, and you made us living twice. Imata, ihya, to put death on someone, and to again put to life, bring to life someone which is dead. And isnatain, twice. Rabbana amatta snatain, amattana snatain, wa ahyaytana snatain, fa'tarafna bi dhunubina fahal ila khurujin min sabil. There are 3 periods of our existence. In between 3 there are 2 pauses of death. First existence in the spiritual form in Alam-e Amr only. Then the first death. Then first ihya in this world with a body. Then the second death which will come to us. Then the second ihya and that is for the hereafter. And then we become eternal. So this is man. This is the concept of man. This is the position of man. Now come to the fifth point. Man is vicegerent of Allah, and he is, not a small thing. Now the fifth point. Even this animal existence of human beings, because Homo sapiens stands at the top of the evolution tree. So this is also bestowed upon by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with very high faculties. And you count them 3. And I am, denoting to the ayah of Surah Bani Israel. Inna sam'a wal basara wal fuada kullu ulaika kana anhu masula. You are all responsible on the basis of these 3 faculties that I have given you. You can hear, you can see, and then you can infer. I quoted the ayah. أَفَلَا يَنْظُرُونَ إِلَى الْإِبِلِ كَيْفَ خُلِقَتْ وَإِلَى السَّمَاءِ كَيْفَ رُفِعَتْ. Can't you see with your own eyes our signs? Can't you use your aql, your intellect, to have our knowledge, to recognize us? Who created these things? Have they come into existence without anything, without any creator? Look to these signs of ours. إن في خلق السماوات والأرض واختلاف الليل والنهار والفلك التي تجري في البحر بما ينفع الناس وما أنزل الله من السماء من ماء فأحيا به الأرض بعد موتها وبث فيها من كل دابة وتصريف الرياح والسحاب المسخر بين السماء والأرض لآيات لقوم يعقلون. In all these physical phenomena, there are signs, our signs. See them, observe them. Deedan digaramos, sunidan digaramos. Don't see only like animals and don't hear only like animals. You must see with human eyes and you must hear with human ears. And then infer, and you will know us. Inna sam'a wal basara wal fuada kullu ulaika kana anhu masula. But there is the point number 6. There is the another existence, the spiritual existence. The spirit which comes from Allah. قُلِ الرُّوحُ مِنْ أَمْرِ رَبِّي. And it is on the basis of the spirit that man became vicegerent of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And only, it has been said twice in Quran, فَإِذَا سَوَّيْتُهُ وَنَفَخْتُ فِيهِ مِنْ رُوحِي فَقَعُوا لَهُ سَاجِدِينَ. When I have finished this and completed the creation of this man and instilled into him, blown into him from my own spirit, then fall down before him in prostration. Surah As-Sad, Surah Al-Hijr, at 2 places the exact words have been repeated. And this spirit, the spiritual existence, it again has been bestowed with 3 faculties. Number 1, the discrimination between good and evil. Number 2, the cognition, the knowledge of Allah, because this ruh is from him. And number 3, an intense love for Allah. Although most of the human beings, in them this love for Allah is perverted to the love of this world. It is perversion of that love which should have been directed towards Allah, the Creator, the Lord, the Sustainer. But you start loving this world, wealth, power, some idea, some ideology. And that Quran says, وَمِنَ النَّاسِ مَنْ يَتَّخِذُ مِنْ دُونِ اللَّهِ أَنْدَادًا يُحِبُّونَهُمْ كَحُبِّ اللَّهِ وَالَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَشَدُّ حُبًّا لِلَّهِ. This love, intense love, actually, it is, you should love Allah, adore Him, worship Him, But there are people who, create their own gods, the wealth, power, the urge to dominate, to have more and more of worldly belongings, or some ideology, nationalism, and you start loving them. But basically these are the three basic faculties in our spirits. On the basis of these faculties, every human being is responsible and accountable. I explained this point yesterday. But I want to dilate upon this point. I'm adding 2 points. Number one, the confrontation between evil and good is going on all the time within our personality, and there are forces outside abetting the evil in us as well as the good in us. What are those? Within our own selves we have the nafsul ammara, which commands us to something bad. Lust of this world and carnal desires, our animal instincts. Inna nafsa la'ammaratun bis-su'. According to Freud, you can say this is the id or libido in man, lowest level of human personality. But within us there is the spirit. It wants us to love Allah, to worship Him, to seek His proximity, qurb, taqarrub ilallah. And there's a quarrel going on, a struggle going on within the personality of each one of us between these two forces which are opposing each other. Point number 9, there are invisible forces outside our personality. There is the shaitan, the iblis, and his progeny, invisible jinns, shayateen. They are exciting our carnal desires, our animal instincts. Allazi yuwaswisu fi sudurin nas. This is the waswasa. Inna shaitana yajri min al-insani majrad dam. But on the other side also we have malaika, angels. They support us. They persuade the good in us, support the good in us and persuade us to do good deeds. إِنَّ الَّذِينَ قَالُوا رَبُّنَا اللَّهُ ثُمَّ اسْتَقَامُوا تَتَنَزَّلُ عَلَيْهِمُ الْمَلَائِكَةُ أَلَّا تَخَافُوا وَلَا تَحْزَنُوا وَأَبْشِرُوا بِالْجَنَّةِ الَّتِي كُنْتُمْ تُوعَدُونَ. Now the last point. I told you every human being is responsible on the basis of those 3 plus 3 faculties bestowed on him. 3 belonging to alam-e-khalq, 3 belonging to alam-e-amr. The sama, the basar and the intellect to this body. The discrimination of good and evil, between good and evil, the knowledge of Allah, the gnosis of Allah, and the love of Allah in the ruh. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made our period of testing, this worldly life, easy by sending wahi through angels to selected persons, selected human beings, and directing them, guide people to the right path, take them out from the darknesses of kufr and shirk and ilhad and agnosticism. Take them out of these darknesses unto the light of Iman. هو الذي ينزل على عبده آيات بينات ليخرجكم من الظلمات إلى النور. So this wahi brought by angels, recorded in the form of books. The recipients of the wahi, the Anbiya and the Rusul, the prophets and the messengers of Allah. This goes to make the Iman bil Risala. And actually, after the sending of these messengers, Now the hujjah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala became complete in every respect. رُسُلًا مُبَشِّرِينَ وَمُنذِرِينَ لِئَلَّا يَكُونَ لِلنَّاسِ عَلَى اللَّهِ حُجَّةٌ بَعْدَ الرُّسُلِ وَكَانَ اللَّهُ عَزِيزًا حَكِيمًا. We sent our messengers as mubashirin, who gave glad tidings to those who took to the right path. وَمُنذِرِينَ, warned those who are turning away from the right path towards the wrong and evil ways. لِأَلَّا يَكُونَ لِلنَّاسِ عَلَى اللَّهِ حُجَّةٌ بَعْدَ الرُّسُلِ, so that there should remain with the human beings no excuse after these messengers of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for remaining on the wrong path. That is why after the advent of the messengers, there was no concession given to the human beings. Now the hujjah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is complete over you. And the people, the nations who rejected the messengers of Allah were wiped out of existence on this earth. What happened to, and these these incidents have been repeated in the Quran so many times. What happened to the people of Nuh? What happened to the people of Hud? What happened to the people of Saleh? What happened to those two cities, the twin cities of Sodom and Amorah, to whom Lut was sent? What happened to Pharaoh and his army? What happened to the people of Madian, to whom Shu'aib was sent? Alayhim as-salatu was-salam. Wiped out of existence. And number two, they are going to be punished in the fire of hell forever. So that is actually the place of Rusul. They are mercy unto mankind because they showed the right path. But then you can say that in a way, people to whom no messenger was sent, they were in a better position. Why? They could plead ignorance. Oh Allah, no Rasul came to us. So we, should be excused. رُسُلًا مُبَشِّرِينَ وَمُنذِرِينَ لِئَلَّا يَكُونَ لِلنَّاسِ عَلَى اللَّهِ حُجَّةٌ بَعْدَ الرُّسُلِ. Only a person knows Arabic and knows the difference between lam and ala. لِلنَّاسِ عَلَى اللَّهِ. There should remain no excuse in favor of human being against Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that is, against his accountability. Oh Allah, you didn't send us any messenger. Your guidance didn't come to us. So we may be excused. But this excuse vanished when the prophets came. And that is why they were punished. وَمَا كُنَّا مُعَذِّبِينَ حَتَّى نَبْعَثَ رَسُولًا. That punishment by which the nations, whole nations were wiped out, they only came to the nations to whom Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent some messenger. So, brothers and sisters, this is the philosophy of Iman. Very important subject. We have been ignoring Iman, supposing that we have Iman because we are Muslims. We are born Muslims. We have Iman. The points which I have made, please note. There can be some difference of opinion regarding the explanations and detailed, explanation and interpretation. But the main points are all agreed upon by all the people who know Quran and the Sunnah of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. May Allah give us the correct and full understanding of Iman. And then may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us real Iman, real belief. Iman with an element and dimension of intellectual understanding. Basira, as the Prophet was ordered by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to claim and say and proclaim, قُلْ هَذِهِ سَبِيلِي أَدْعُو إِلَى اللَّهِ عَلَى بَصِيرَةٍ أَنَا وَمَنِ اتَّبَعَنِي. Say out, O Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, to the people, this is the path which I have taken myself, and I am calling you to this path with basira, not blindly. I have the insight of all these things, and not only that I have the insight, وَمَنِ اتَّبَعَنِي, also those who are following me. Abu Bakr, for example, he has all the insight. May Allah make us one of them. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين والمسلمات. الحمد لله وكفى والصلاة والسلام على عباده الذين اصطفى خصوصا على أفضلهم وخاتم النبيين محمد الأمين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. أما بعد فقد قال الله تبارك وتعالى كما ورد في سورة النساء أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم يا أيها الذين آمنوا بالله ورسوله والكتاب الذي نزل على رسوله والكتاب الذي أنزل من قبل ومن يكفر بالله وملائكته وكتبه ورسله واليوم الآخر فقد ضل ضلالا بعيدا. وقال عز وجل كما ورد في سورة الحجرات قالت الأعراب آمنا قل لم تؤمنوا ولكن قولوا أسلمنا ولما يدخل الإيمان في قلوبكم وإن تطيعوا الله ورسوله لا يلدكم من أعمالكم شيئا إن الله غفور رحيم. إنما المؤمنون الذين آمنوا بالله ورسوله ثم لم يرتابوا وجاهدوا بأموالهم وأنفسهم في سبيل الله أولئك هم الصادقون. صدق الله العظيم. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. اللهم ربنا ألهمنا رشدنا وأعذنا من شرور أنفسنا. اللهم ربنا نور قلوبنا بالإيمان واشرح صدورنا للإسلام ووفقنا أن نجاهد في سبيلك بأموالنا وأنفسنا وارزقنا شهادة في سبيلك آمين يا رب العالمين. Dear brothers and sisters and sons and daughters in Islam, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. You must be feeling that we are still, regarding our discussion on Iman, still on the same place where we were at the end of the session before the last one. That is, a part of the fourth discussion is still remaining, and that is, what is the relative importance of the three pillars of faith, three pillars of Iman, as compared to each other. I told you the three pillars, main pillars of Iman or faith, Islamic faith. Please note here, actually there is no word in English equivalent to the word Iman. But we are forced to translate it by belief, by faith, but actually they are in no way equivalent to the word Iman. So we have to use and repeat the word Iman. So the three main pillars of Iman, the Tawheed or Al-Imanu Billah, the Ma'ad or Al-Iman Bil-Akhirah, and thirdly, Iman Bil-Risalah, Iman Bil-Nubuwwah. Out of these three, essentially, basically, fundamentally, and in principle, the real Iman is Iman Billah. It includes all the other Imaniyat, all the other pillars of faith in it. What is Iman bil Risala? It is the extension of the attribute of Allah. He is Al-Hadi, the one who guides. And the guidance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala manifests itself in the form of Wahi, Nabuwah, Risala, books. So it's the corollary of Iman Billah. In the same way, what is Iman bil Akhirah? It is the corollary and the extension of the attribute of Allah. He is Al-Adl, and the manifestation of His justice is going to be on the day of judgment and in the hereafter. So actually, Iman, essentially, basically, fundamentally, and in principle, Iman is Iman Billah and Tawheed. That is why you must be remembering, at least some of you, if you learned by heart in your early years of life, the wordings of Al-Imanul Mujmal and Al-Imanul Mufassal. What is the Iman in brief? Mujmal. Amantu billahi kama huwa bi asma'ihi wa sifatihi wa qabiltu jami'a ahkamihi iqrarun bil lisani wa tasdiqun bil qalb. No mention of angels, no mention of books, no mention of Anbiya, no mention of messengers, no mention of resurrection, no mention of the day of judgment, nothing of the sort. This is Iman in essence. This is the Iman Mujmal. In brief, the whole Iman is Iman Billah. Amantu billahi kama huwa bi asma'ihi wa sifatihi. I believe in Allah as He is manifest by His names and attributes. وَقَبِلْتُ جَمِيعَ أَحْكَامِهِ. I accept all His commands. As we find in the last but one ayah of Surah Al-Baqarah, آمن الرسول بما أنزل إليه من ربه والمؤمنون كل آمن بالله وملائكته وكتبه ورسله لا نفرق بين أحد من رسله وقالوا سمعنا وأطعنا غفرانك ربنا وإليك المصير. The essential result of Iman is سمعنا وأطعنا. We listen and obey. So, amantu billahi kama huwa bi asma'ihi wa sifatihi wa qabiltu jami'a ahkamihi. And now note the two expressions which are very basic, very important. And our next discussion, you know, that will be based on these two expressions. Iqrarum bil lisani wa tasdiqum bil qalb. We are verbally attesting to it, and we have the conviction in our hearts. These two things go to make Iman. Iqrarum bil lisan, the verbal attestation, the shahada. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. This is the verbal attestation. And then there should be tasdiqum bil qalb, the conviction in the heart. So this is Iman Mujmal. This is the fundamental and the basic Iman, and all comprehensive. Now what is the importance of Iman bil Akhirah? The moral and practical influence of Iman depends essentially on Iman bil Akhirah. The sense of responsibility, the fear, the sense that you have to stand before your Lord. يَوْمَ يَقُومُ النَّاسُ لِرَبِّ الْعَالَمِينَ. You will have to face the grand accountability of the day of judgment. It will keep you on the straight path. It's most effective. If the Iman bil Akhirah is not there, or it is complete, you will not be able to practice what you believe or what you say or what you profess. There will remain a gap between what you say and what you do. Ya ayyuhallazina amanu lima taquluna ma la taf'alun. It's actually the sense of responsibility and the fear. Amma man khafa maqama rabbihi wa nahan nafsa anil hawa. Who had the fear that he will have to stand on one day before his Lord and face that accountability. So this is most important. Moral point of view, practical point of view, the most important Iman is Iman bil Akhirah. Resurrection, day of judgment, and the life hereafter. And legally and constitutionally, the most important Iman is Iman bil Risala. Because it is the dividing line between who is a Muslim and who is not a Muslim. One can be a muwahhid, a Unitarian. He believes in Allah, all his attributes, fully well. He believes in Akhirah, hereafter, resurrection. If he doesn't believe in Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he is outside the pale of Islam. So dividing line actually is the Iman bil Risala. It is the line dividing the Muslims and the non-Muslims. You can find people among Hindus who are muwahhideen, among other people, might be in Jews. You can find among them who believe in resurrection. But because they don't believe in Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, they are non-Muslims. So regarding the legal aspect, the constitutional aspect of Iman, this Iman bil Risala is most decisive, most important. Secondly, Iman billah will only be correct and acceptable in Islam if it includes all the attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala which have been told to us by Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Amantu billahi kama huwa bi asma'ihi wa sifat. We couldn't name the names. We couldn't know. We didn't have any source of knowing the names and the attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So only that Iman billah is mu'tabar. It is acceptable, acknowledgeable, which includes all the names and attributes of Allah which have been given to us through wahi, through the books, through the prophets, and finally through Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And also, the only Iman bil Akhirah which includes all the details that have been given to us through wahi, through prophets, and finally through Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, will be acceptable and acknowledgeable. The details of resurrection, the details of hisab, yawma yaqumul hisab, the details of that accountability, the details of Jannah, the details of Nar and Jahannam. All these details, we don't have any source of knowledge. And we cannot know these things except through wahi, through risala, and finally, as I said, through Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Because Quran also, we have been given through Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And then he has been given much more knowledge, additional to the Quran, in addition to the Quran. Utitul Qur'ana wa misluhu ma'ahu. I have been given Quran and something else also. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given me some more knowledge also. And on the basis of that knowledge, he has told us. So now, to sum up, fundamentally, basically, essentially, and in principle, the whole Iman, all inclusive, is Iman billah or Tawheed. Most important. But legally, constitutionally, the most important Iman is Iman bil Risala. And morally and practically, to have the influence on the characters of the people, the behavior of the people, The most important Iman is the Iman bil Akhirah. And now we are going to the 5th and the 6th and the 7th headings. They will be discussed jointly now. The 5th is the 2 aspects of Iman. The 6th, the relationship between Iman and Amal. What's the relationship between Iman and Amal Salih, the good deeds? And thirdly, the solution of an age-old controversy, whether Iman can increase as well as decrease, or it doesn't increase at all, nor it decreases at all. So these were the 3 headings, the 5th, 6th and 7th. I have recited in the beginning ayah number 136 of Surah An-Nisa. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu aminu billahi wa rasulihi wal kitabi alladhi nazzala ala rasulihi wal kitabi alladhi anzala min qabl. O you who believe, have real belief in Allah and His Messenger and the book that He sent down to His Messenger and the book that He sent before. What does it tell? There are 2 aspects of Iman. You know, the word which comes automatically on the tip of my tongue is the 2 levels of Iman. But actually, levels of Iman are innumerable. Levels, the depth of Iman, the intensity of Iman. The Iman of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Can we imagine the depth and intensity of his Iman? The Iman of Abu Bakr radiyallahu ta'ala. Can we imagine the intensity and the depth of his Iman? Then the Iman of the Sahaba. Then you go on, coming to the Iman of any one of us. Innumerable levels of Iman. I should say, as many levels as many human beings. But these are 2, you may say, these levels can be divided into 2 main parts. This is one mode of expression. Or you can say there are 2 aspects of Iman. What are those 2 aspects? The Iman based on verbal attestation. Whosoever recites the kalima, Ashhadu Allah ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluhu, whether he was a Hindu or a Sikh or a Parsi or a Christian or a Jew or a Buddhist, whatever he might have been, atheist, he might be anything, no sooner than he recites, he utters these words, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah, he becomes a Muslim. He becomes a mu'min. This is the first stage of Iman, based on verbal attestation. But this is not the real Iman. The real Iman would be when you have the real conviction in your hearts. Iqrarun bil lisan wa tasdeequn bil qalb. It must descend from your tongues, the tips of the tongues, to the depths of your heart. Then it becomes real Iman. So these are the 2 aspects. So in this ayah, who have been addressed? Ya ayyuhallazina amanu. People who are doing the verbal attestation, who are reciting the kalima of shahada, who profess to be Mu'mins, who say with their tongues, Amantu billahi wa malaikatihi wa kutubihi wa rusulihi wal yawmil akhiri wal qadri khairihi wa sharrihi min Allah ta'ala wal ba'si ba'd al-maut. So these are the people who have been addressed, Ya ayyuhallazina amanu. And then comes the Fa'ilul Amr, the imperative, the command, the order. Aminu billahi wa rasulihi. Have real faith, have real conviction in Allah and His Messenger, وَالْكِتَابِ الَّذِي نَزَّلَ عَلَى رَسُولِهِ, and in the book that he sent down to his messenger gradually, bit by bit, and the book that he sent down before. So this is the most important ayah of the Quran, which decides finally that there are two different imans, two different aspects of Iman, or you may call them two different levels of Iman. Now please take it from me. The first is the legal Iman. On this is based our social, legal and constitutional status as Muslim. Why? Because we can't peep into the hearts of the people. We have not been able to invent so far no electrocardiogram, no EKG, nothing of that sort can tell you whether real Iman is there in the heart or not. And the Iman in the heart, the real conviction in the heart, is not verifiable. So you have to base the legal, constitutional, social structure of the Muslim society or the Muslim state in this world on legal Iman, which is based on the verbal attestation. But this is not the real Iman. The real Iman is when there is conviction in the existence and unity and the attributes of Allah. That there is conviction in the existence of angels, the institution of Wahi, the Anbiya, the prophets, then the messengers, then the books, and in the finality of prophethood in Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Then the conviction of resurrection, day of judgment, and then reward, either good reward of good deeds in paradise, in Jannah, or the punishment in Jahannam, the hell. Conviction. There's a hell of difference. There's Ishq-Tab Saburi Hazar Farsangast. There's a distance of 1,000 miles between these two. Now, I have narrated two ayat from Surah Al-Hujurat also. These are ayat I had recited, I should say. Two ayat from Surah Al-Hujurat, ayah number 14, ayah number 15. قَالَتِ الْأَعْرَابُ آمَنَّا. These Bedouins are claiming that we have come to believe, we have become Mu'mins. قُلْ, tell them, O Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, لَمْ تُؤْمِنُوا, you have not at all come to believe. Don't be mistaken. Don't be under a wrong notion. You have not at all come to believe. You have not become Mu'min. وَلَكِنْ قُولُوا أَسْلَمْنَا. But you may say, we have become Muslims, or we have surrendered. وَلَمَّا يَدْخُلِ الْإِيمَانُ فِي قُلُوبِكُمْ. Until this time, the real Iman has not entered your hearts. In the same surah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said about the companions of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, وَلَكِنَّ اللَّهَ حَبَّبَ إِلَيْكُمُ الْإِيمَانَ وَزَيَّنَهُ فِي قُلُوبِكُمْ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made real Iman very dear to you. You love Iman. And now your hearts are shining with the light of that Iman, that real Iman, that burning faith, the living conviction. So it's now these two ayat have given us two terms. In the ayah 136 of Surah An-Nisa, we have two Imans. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, amin. Now instead of Iman, the legal Iman, here we have the word Islam. قالت الأعراب آمنا قل لم تؤمنوا ولكن قولوا أسلمنا. These Bedouins claim we have become Mormons. Tell them, you have not at all become Mormons. All you can say is you have become Muslims. Because in Islam, the 5 pillars of Islam that have been given to us by Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the word Iman is not included at all. The most famous hadith, most authentic, muttafaqun alayh, agreed upon by Bukhari and Muslim, both, rahimahumallah, and Abdullah ibn Umar, radiyallahu ta'ala anhuma, بُنِيَ الْإِسْلَامُ عَلَى خَمْسٍ شهادة أن لا إله إلا الله وأن محمد رسول الله وإقام الصلاة وإيتاء الزكاة وصوم رمضان وحج البيت من استطاع إليه سبيلا متفق عليه. Did you find the word Iman here? No. Only the verbal attestation. Whosoever testifies verbally with his tongue, شهادة أن لا إله إلا الله وأن محمد رسول الله, and to it add 4 modes of worship: the prayers, the fasting, the zakah, and the hajj. And these are the 5 pillars of Islam. So this is the most profound issue, a basic principle if we can understand it. Because, now please let me give you, there is a problem, a paradox, a dilemma, about which our enemies can say there is contradiction. The enemies would call it contradiction. But we have to accept the problem is there. Although there can be no contradiction in Quran and Hadith. But apparently there is a contradiction. And I am calling it a problem, a paradox, a dilemma. What is it? Here Quran says, قَالَتِ الْأَعْرَابُ آمَنَّا قُلْ لَمْ تُؤْمِنُوا وَلَكِنْ قُولُوا أَسْلَمْنَا وَلَمَّا يَدْخُلِ الْإِيمَانُ فِي قُلُوبِكُمْ. I have translated already. These Bedouins are claiming that we have become Mormons. Tell them, O Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, you have not at all become Mormon. All you can say, all you can claim is that you have become Muslims. And on the other hand, in the ayah number 94 of Surah An-Nisa, Allah Ta'ala himself says, وَلَا تَقُولُوا لِمَنْ أَلْقَى إِلَيْكُمُ السَّلَامَ لَسْتَ مُؤْمِنًا. Don't say to anyone, there can be 2 translations now, who say salam to you or who claim Islam for themselves. Don't say, you cannot say you are not a mu'min. There is a problem. لا تقولوا لمن ألقى إليكم السلام لست مؤمنا. Whosoever says to you Assalamu alaikum, you can't say you are not a mu'min. You have to accept him as a mu'min. Or whosoever presents salamati, salamah to you, whosoever says I am a Muslim, you can't say you are not a mu'min. And there قالت الأعراب آمنا قل لم تؤمنوا ولكن قولوا أسلمنا ولما يدخل الإيمان في قلوبكم. Apparently there is a contradiction. We know there cannot be any contradiction in Quran, but there is a problem to resolve, a paradox to solve, a dilemma to solve. And let me quote an incident, very important incident. It will throw the light on the complexity of this dilemma or problem or paradox. Once during a battle, jihad fi sabilillah, Hazrat Usama ibn Zayd radiyallahu ta'ala anhuma, who was very dear to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, like his grandson, because you know that the Prophet adopted Hazrat Zayd radiyallahu ta'ala anhu as his son. But later on, when Surah Ahzab was revealed, you know, otherwise before that he was called Zayd ibn Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But later again he reverted to Zayd ibn Harsa. And Usama was the son of Zayd, so very dear to Muhammad, just as a grandson. It happened that he had, a man-to-man, one-to-one duel with a kafir, mushrik. And when that kafir or mushrik was overpowered absolutely, and he felt that now I am absolutely at the mercy of Usama, he said, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. Usama radiallahu ta'ala anhu thought, as any one of us would have thought, that's only an excuse. He's not reciting the kalima from his heart sincerely. He wants only to be saved. So he didn't spare his life, killed him. But there was something within him now, whether I have done something wrong or something correct. He himself came and reported the incident to the Prophet ﷺ. The Prophet was angry, at least not pleased. He said, you have done something wrong. You have committed a blunder. And let me quote here the wordings of the Prophet. According to the hadith in Bukhari, the Prophet said, أَفَلَا شَقَقْتَ مِنْ قَلْبِهِ حَتَّى تَعْلَمَ أَقَالَهَا أَمْ لَا. Could you open his heart and see for yourself whether he uttered these words sincerely or not? You know, the anger in these words, this displeasure. According to hadith in Ibn Majah, Sunan Ibn Majah rahimahullah, فَهَلَّا شَقَقْتَ عَنْ بَطْنِهِ فَعَلِمْتَ مَا فِي قَلْبِهِ. Why didn't you open his abdomen and see? What did it mean? You couldn't do it. It cannot be verified. How could you decide? He was not true, he was not sincere. There might be 99%, circumstantial advance, circumstantial evidence that he is uttering these words insincerely, but there remains 1% at least possibility that he is uttering these words sincerely. And the words in the Sahih of Imam Muslim, they are much stronger. فَكَيْفَ تَصْنَعُ يَا أُسَامَةَ بِلَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا اللَّهِ إِذْ جَاءَتْ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ. What will you do, O Usama, when this kalima, La ilaha illallah, will come against you on the day of judgment? I was there. This kalima, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, I was there. I was the shield for that person. And Usama killed the person. Now you know the complexity, how sensitive this issue is. Now let me add to another dimension, to this complexity, this paradox, this dilemma, this problem, to which I said the enemies will call contradiction. On the one hand, we have so many hadiths which tell us, Man qala la ilaha illallah dakhala al-jannah. In some we have found, Man qala la ilaha illallah mukhlisan an qalbihi dakhala al-jannah. Whosoever says these words, La ilaha illallah, at least sincerely, he will enter paradise. And on the other side we have ahadith. Let me quote a few. The first is from Hazrat Abu Hurairah radiyallahu ta'ala an, included in both the sahihs of Imam Bukhari and Imam Muslim. The most authentic ahadith, I have told you, are those on the authenticity of whom these two topmost muhaddithin agree. La yazni zani hina yazni wa huwa mu'minun, wa la yasriqu sariqu hina yasriqu wa huwa mu'minun. وَلَا يَشْرَبُ الْخَمَرَ حِينَ يَشْرَبُ وَهُوَ مُؤْمِنٌ. Nobody commits adultery in a state of Iman. He's not Iman. He's not mu'min at that time. Nobody drinks liquor, khamr, in the state of Iman. He's not a mu'min at that time. Nobody commits a theft in the state of Iman. Then there's a hadith from Hazrat Anas radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. It is included in Sunan of Imam Bayhaqi. La imana liman la amanata lahu, wa la deena liman la ahda lahu. And the words of Hazrat Anas radiyallahu ta'ala anhu are, Allama khatabana Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam illa qal, La imana liman la amanata lahu, wa la deena liman la ahda lahu. It was only seldom that the Prophet ﷺ gave us any lecture or khutbah or sermon, and he didn't say these words. He always repeated these words in all his sermons. There is no Iman for whom there is no amana, who is not trustworthy. He has no Iman whatsoever. And the one who doesn't keep his words, his promise, there's no deen of him. He has no deen whatsoever. Note the categorical statement. How sweeping, how categorical are these statements? Kallama khatabana Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam illa qal, La imana liman la amanata lahu, wa la deena liman la ahda lahu. And coming to the last, and be prepared for the shock. Once, this is in Bukhari, and Hazrat Abi Shuraih al-Adawi radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, once the Prophet said thrice, Wallahi la yuminu, Wallahi la yuminu, Wallahi la yuminu. I swear by Allah, he is not a mu'min. I swear by Allah, that person is not a mu'min. I swear by Allah, that person is not a mu'min. The Sahaba trembled and asked, Who, Ya Rasulullah? Man, Ya Rasulullah? What was the reply? Allazi la ya'manu jaruhu bawa'iqahu. The one whose neighbor is not in peace due to his mischiefs. Just an immoral, uncultured attitude, uncivilized attitude. No kabira, no big sin, no shirk, no kufr, no adultery, no usury, no theft. Only this character, this attitude, that your neighbor is not in peace due to your mischiefs. Wallahi la yumin, Wallahi la yumin, Wallahi la yumin. Now keep these ahadith. I think these three will suffice. And keep the other ahadith. There is an apparent contradiction. Now, what is the solution? I feel that, these discussions are quite difficult, complicated. But I want that these be included in these lectures. These are very basic issues. Regarding this dilemma or paradox or problem or apparent contradiction, there have been 6 shades of opinion during the 1400 years history of the Muslim Ummah. Extreme left, moderate left, left to the center, right to the center, moderate center, and extreme right. Extremes are absolute zalalah, reaching the level of kufr. The moderates on the left and right, they are shades of zalalah, no doubt, not reaching the level of kufr. But the average, are two opinions, and they are very important. They are very close to each other. The left to the center and the right to the center, they come together. The one is the position of Imam Bukhari, rahimahullah, and most of the muhaddiseen. And to the right of the center is the position of Imam Abu Hanifa, rahimahullah. What is extreme left? Position that Khawarij took. Whosoever commits a major sin, he immediately becomes a kafir. Now you can kill him. Mubahul dam, mubahul mal. You can kill him. You can have all his belongings as booty, as malul ghanima. You can take his wife or wives as your, what should you say, concubines, slaves, slave girls. No sooner than you commit a major ma'asiyah, kabira, you become a kafir. That was the position taken by Khawarij. And I told you, it was agreed upon, they have left the pale of Islam. They went out of the folds of Islam, they become kuffar. This is extreme left. Next to them come the Mu'tazila. Whosoever commits a sin, he comes out of Iman and Islam, but doesn't become a kafir. There is a no man's land in between Islam and Iman and Kufr. They call it manzilatun bain al-manzilatayn, a mid position between two extremes. Kufr, Iman and Islam taken together. They have committed a sin, so they have come out of the region of Islam and Iman, but not entered Kufr. Here they are different from the Khawarij. So actually, it didn't pose a practical problem. If he is not a kafir, well, you can't kill him. He is not mubahud dam, he is not mubahul mal. You can't take his property and belongings. So practically, there was no problem. But in the case of the Khawarij, the problem was very great. They declared Hazrat Ali as kafir, declared Hazrat Muawiyah as kafir, Abu Musa Ashari kafir, Amr ibn al-As kafir. And they were the ones who killed Hazrat Ali, martyred him. Ibn Maljam, Kharji. But let us proceed, not go to history. The time is very limited. The third position, this is left to the center. This is the position of Imam Bukhari, Imam Malik, Imam Shafi'i, Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal, most of the muhaddiseen, that these are included in Iman. And if there are sins, the Iman is not complete. It becomes incomplete. But still, if there is some tasdeeq remaining in the heart, he will be accepted as Muslim. He is not a kafir at all. But deeds and actions are an integral part of Iman. Al-Imanu qawlun wa amalun. Iman includes both these things. The qawl, the verbal attestation, as well as the amal. This is the position of the Muhaddiseen, Imam Bukhari rahimahullah. Because he is the Sayyidul Muhaddiseen, he stands at the top of the list of the Muhaddiseen. What's the position of now? We are coming to the right of the center. That is Imam Abu Hanifa. No doubt, Ra'isul Fuqaha. He is at the top of the jurists in Islam, no doubt about it. Rather, I feel he is the topmost jurist of the human race. His sense, legal sense, was very acute, very deep. Legal and constitutional sense. What is his position? Actions and deeds and Iman, they are two separate entities. Al-Imanu qawlun bil-lisan wa tasdiqun bil-qalb. Action and deed is a separate entity altogether. And even if a person commits a major sin, he doesn't become a kafir at all. And on the day of judgment, his good deeds and bad deeds will be balanced against each other. If the good deeds are more than the bad deeds, he will go straight to the paradise. If the bad deeds are heavier, that side of the balance is heavier than the good deeds, then he will be thrown in the fire of hell for some time, till he gets the punishment proportionate to his bad deeds. Then he will be taken out, and then he will enter finally in the paradise. But Iman and Amal are two separate entities. This is the basic difference. Imam Bukhari and Muhaddiseen say Iman and Amal are one. And Imam Abu Hanifa says no, Iman and Amal are separate entities. Which since Iman in quantity, in depth decreases, but it doesn't vanish. Now you go to the next, the moderate on the right side, they are Murjiya. Who are Murjiya? They say Iman is Iqrar plus Tasdeeq. But wherever there are both Iqrar and Tasdeeq, no bad deed will bring any punishment to that person. This is Zalala, this is, something absolutely wrong. It makes people bold. Well, we have Tasdeeq, we have Iman. Now I can do anything, I can eat anything, I can do anything, I can commit any sin. It is not going to do me any harm. They are called Murjiya. And the last of all, at the extreme right, they are Karamiya. They say not even, Tasdeequm bil qalb is also not necessary. Even if there is verbal attestation, no sin can do any harm and will bring any punishment to that person. So these are the 6 main divisions, main shades of opinion. Now we come to the central 2. Leave the Khawarij, leave the Karamiya, leave the Mu'tazila, and mind you, the Mu'tazila and Ahl Tashayyu, they can be grouped in one. They have the same position as Mu'tazila. Leave the Murjiya also. But in the center now, there is Imam Abu Hanifa, rahimahullah, Sayyidul Fuqaha, on the right side of the center, and the Muhaddiseen, with the Ra'isul Muhaddiseen, Imam Bukhari, on the left side of the center. They are very close to each other. Practically, there remains a very little difference between the position of the two. Theoretically, there is. According to Imam Bukhari, deeds and actions are integral part of Iman. And according to Imam Abu Hanifa, they are two separate entities. That's all. But now I'm coming to the last issue. And that is the controversy again between Imam Bukhari and Imam Abu Hanifa, rahimahumullah. There we find that the gap is very big. Imam Bukhari says, his position is, Iman increases as well as decreases. Al-Imanu yazidu wa yanqus. You read Quran, you do good deeds, Iman will increase. You are keep the company of the ignorant people who have taken the wrong path, your level of Iman will decrease. Everybody can feel himself that this is the truth. There are various ayat of the Quran, I don't have time now at my disposal to refer to them. Zadathum imana, Quran says. وَمَا زَادَتْهُمْ إِلَّا إِيمَانًا وَتَسْلِيمًا. So Iman increases and Iman decreases. This is the position of Imam Bukhari rahimahullah. The position of Imam Abu Hanifa is just opposite, to the contrary. La yazidu wa la yanqus. Iman cannot increase, cannot decrease. It neither increases nor decreases. How to reconcile the two? Having the Raisul Muhaddiseen and having the Raisul Fuqaha, we can't ignore any one of them. Maybe, the Shawafi, the Hanabila, the Malikiya may ignore the position of Imam Abu Hanifa. But the Ahnaf cannot ignore Bukhari, because according to the Ahnaf also, the most authentic collection of the ahadith of the Prophet is the Sahih of Imam Bukhari, rahimahullah, no doubt. They accept Bukhari as asahul kutub ba'da kitabillah, the most authentic book after the book of Allah, that is Quran. But I thank God, He gave me the light. I have resolved this controversy. I say with full confidence, whatever Imam Bukhari is saying is 100% correct. And whatever Imam Abu Hanifa is saying is also 100% correct. How? You might be feeling he has gone crazy. The two contradictory statements, yazidu wa yanqus, la yazidu wa la yanqus. And both 100% correct. Yes, 100% correct. They are speaking about two different aspects of Iman. At the level of real Iman, Imam Bukhari's position is 100% correct. It increases, it decreases. But the real Iman, the conviction in the heart. And Imam Abu Hanifa is a jurist. He is looking to the legal and constitutional aspect of this issue. He is talking about legal Islam, legal Iman. And legally speaking, constitutionally speaking, this legal Iman gives you a social, legal and constitutional status in this world. You are entitled to all the rights of a Muslim in a Muslim society. All the rights of citizenship, full citizenship in an Islamic state, in the system of caliphate. Well, this legal status is stationary. It can't increase, it can't decrease. It remains the same. Is it not resolved? But all these things can only be resolved when you understand the two different aspects of Islam. The legal Islam, the real Islam. The real Iman and the legal Iman. The legal Iman, Islam is based on that. Shahada, verbal attestation. And at this level, deeds are different and Iman is different. At the legal. At the real Iman, Iman and Amal become one. Here again, Imam Bukhari is correct 100%. And this Iman increases as well as decreases. Now let me give you a very simple example of that. Suppose there are two sons of a father. Muslim father, two Muslim sons. One is very muttaqi, very muttaqi. He says tahajjud also in addition to the 5 obligatory prayers. The other is fasiq, fajir. He only intermittently says prayers. But he is a Muslim, legal Muslim. When the father dies, will their share in the inheritance be equal or different? Do you give more to the muttaqi, to the mutahajjid, and less to this fasiq and fajir? For all legal purposes, for all constitutional purposes, all Muslims are equal. And this is the most important point regarding the constitutional structure of Islamic State, of the system of caliphate. There are many misconceptions about that system. And I'll be speaking about the structure, the constitutional structure of Islamic State under the caliphate, inshallah, during my stay here. But here please note that this is the most basic thing. Abu Hanifa, a jurist, focusing his attention on the legal aspect of Iman, says Iman includes iqrar and tasdeeq, but not the deeds and actions. Iman and amal, separate entities. And this Iman gives you a legal and constitutional status which is absolutely stationary. It neither increases nor decreases. Imam Bukhari, looking to the real aspect of Iman, which is based on the conviction in the heart. This conviction in the heart, definitely the deeds are decided and controlled by the convictions. So here, Iman and Amal, they become one. Al-Imanu qawlun wa amalun. And this Iman increases as well as decreases. Yazidu wa yanqus. So briefly, we have finished 3 topics. 2 aspects of Iman, legal and real. What's the connection between Iman and Amal? A different proposition at the legal level of Iman and a different position at the real level of Iman. The solution of the age-old controversy about whether Iman increases or decreases or doesn't increase nor decrease. Al-Imanu yazidu wa yanqus, la yazidu wa la yanqus. Yazidu wa yanqus at the real level, la yazidu wa la yanqus at the legal level. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين والمسلمات.